football clubs have isolated players. I think that they've taken all the precautions needed. But the mentality of the players to get ready and to play if the AFL decided which they have to play, I think has been first class.
Do you think the players would be exhilarated tonight, Jared?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even asking the boys at St Kilda, you know, are you ready to play? They're like, that's all they want to be doing. Some of these guys have been running since September. So to finally get a chance to go out for 4 points against an opposition, they're ready to go.
Have you, either of you've got your role at Melbourne still, haven't you, Jordan?
Yeah, that's sort of gone away now that season is...
Got sacked?
No,
was Jordan sacked?
Pre-season
Mutually agreed to part ways. Right, that's okay. Okay, for you, Ruff, have you had any player come up to you and speak to you about any fears or talked about risks of playing under the current climate?
Oh, the risks are always going to be there. So the questions that you have as a group have been asked and answered, and you know, you try and answer them as best as you can, but I think that they're all ready to go. As I said, a lot of them have been running since September, so they just want to get out there and do what, you know, they've wanted to do for this whole pre-season, and that's play against an opposition for 4 points with something on the line. But
you guys, players, we've watched it for 30 years. You players think that you're Superman. You guys build yourselves up and you're together. We can take on the world. Is that can be a false bravado? Can that be a naive bravado?
Oh, there'd definitely be questions asked, and you know, we've got a sports psych in Benny Robbins down at the footy club that's probably had a number of players go in and ask a question this week and wonder if, you know, their health is at risk, what else is going to happen, but at the same time they've been reassured that, you know, we're right to go.
What did round one mean to you when it came around each year, and was it different from when you started to when you were a veteran? Oh,
there was always an uneasiness approaching the season because you just didn't know what would happen, what would unfold, whether you would get injured throughout the course of the year, or whether the side would gel straight away, or whether you would have to work your way through it. And that didn't ease from when you started playing AFL football to your 15th, 16th year. Every single player and every single coach upon the eve of the season would have that feeling in your stomach of we're not quite sure how we've prepared. Have we prepared well? Have we done enough to start the season like we need to start the season? And that never leaves you because it probably means so much to you. It is an exciting time as a player, but it will be a different feeling. There's no doubt about that. Players, they are naive in a sense, but they have an understanding on what's going on around the world. They do live a sheltered life in some aspects, and that's been enhanced the last couple of weeks because of what's gone on. But it'll be a weird feeling going to games playing for 4 points with no one in the crowd. So it's something different, something that no one has ever experienced before. But I was just thinking before, and I mean, if Ruffy was still playing, you would have to make a big call on whether you play or not because of probably the history that he's had. But all players that I've spoken to have been reassured that they are not necessarily the demographic that is at high risk. So
that's true.
The decision has been taken out of their hands in a sense. If the AFL had have come out today and said, listen, we're not playing, the players wouldn't have played.
Do you know when you said if Ruffy was a player, there's going to be a mini draft, Jared?
He did call me the other day and say, have you been asked?
Could I? No. Oh, probably not. But
why not?
Well, why? Because I've enjoyed the off-season.
So there's not physical, it's where you are...
Yeah, who knows?
What about you, Muscles?
Who knows is not no.
No, it's...
He can play.
He's fine.
No, I've enjoyed the off-season. But he called me straight away when it got released and said, have you had any calls from anyone? I said, why would anyone call me?
Yeah. Because he'd be one that I would go after.
No,
would you go as a package deal?
Like we are here.
It'd be pretty old forward line, wouldn't it?
Why would you go after him?
Oh, purely for the on-field coach aspect that, you know, he could offer a team, but also, you know, the drive and teaching the young kids, which is what he was so good at Melbourne for the last 3 years.
It only takes one training session to realise how quickly you can lose it.
He played in the Melbourne scratch match.
Did you? Yeah, but the offensive side was good, but the defensive side was
What if they offered you
not touched?
What if they offered you $500,000?
No,
when everyone's taking a pay cut.
What if they just what if they just appealed to the heart and said, "Come play 3 games with us in this peculiar season"?
Do it, mate. Do it.
No, I wouldn't do it.
At the end of the year, become a 5-time premiership.
Yeah, maybe when the ladder is clearly
Come and join
this
second,
way.
first semi-final.
Yeah, I'm sure Dimmer will call me actually.
Oh, so it's Tigers.
Yeah,
Should a club ring him just to double check?
just to check. Just to check in.
You know the guy who just left, Nick Revolt?
Oh, he'd
I
still
said
think
to
he
him
could
on
play.
Monday, me and Jack in the forward line. He'd love that.
At some stage they did want to
Yes, they did.
get together.
They did.
How long will it take a team with a lot of new players coming into it to gel? What have you got a case study on that? Have you got a theory on how long it takes a team to gel? And this is the Saints case study.
Yeah, no, I don't. You know, looking at our pre-season form, I think everyone has gelled pretty well. You know, we had a good win against both Hawthorn and Collingwood, so in that sense, all those 5 guys pretty much played and fit into the new system with Rats and whatnot. So now it's just a matter of, you know, the more footy you play together, the more you're going to gel better. So, you know, now that they get a chance to play together again, they're going to get better again.
How do you think the game's going to change this year? Bearing in mind, the Tigers were able to play a bit of slow football and explosive, and they're maniacs. Cats were slow, top 4. Who else was up there was pretty slow ball moving? Collingwood, at times, used the ball slow. Is that going to be
West
a trend? Is that going to be a trend this year, or do you think, like St Kilda, how can St Kilda go slow? They've picked up Brad Hill and Zach Jones. I mean, they're going to throw them into between the arcs. I mean, they're not going to be moving the ball slow.
But I think too, with 16-minute quarters, it's going to help a lot of these sides. Well, you're probably not going to be able to play as much slow footy.
It's going to be helter-skelter?
Potentially, yeah. And depending on when the breaks are and what's going to happen with the following weeks after round 1, I think you know, you're not going to have a chance to really play too many different styles of footy.
Can you imagine, Jordan, the reduction to 16 minutes in time on, that decision's for the now, but could that decision stay forever?
I'm now reconsidering my decision on maybe not to put my hand up and play for the 5 to 10 extra players. Potentially. 16 minutes, it's over in a flash. With time on, so there might be...
So it's 22.
Let's say,
so 22 all up.
4 minutes, 5 minutes. That's quick. That's really quick. As a player, that last 10 minutes of a quarter feels like it's a long period of time, but that 20 minutes comes up because you might have a rotation at 13 minutes where you've got 7 minutes to come back on or even 6 minutes to come back on and play.